Hello, it's me again. You may have seen another video previous to this about atheists and they believe. I'm going to elaborate on that now. I was reading a website, pulled the plug on atheism.com, bit of a plug there. Interesting, and it isn't wrong, of course. What they're saying is that the problem is that the universe, according to an atheist, the universe came from nothing. Now, when an atheist says that, right, it's like an intellectual leap of faith, okay? Now, I'm happy that an atheist believes in what they want to believe, but I would say you've got to think very carefully, because atheists claim that they're intellectually kind of superior to the inferior theists, because theists kind of have this intellectual crutch, so they don't need to pursue these scientific endeavours, LHC and all that sort of stuff. They don't need that because it's all done, it's God. What's the question? The answer is God, okay? Why am I sitting here talking to you? The answer is God. Maybe, Why are you watching this video? The answer is God. Haha, it's a throwaway argument that actually means nothing, because what they're saying is kind of that religion kind of stunts your intellectual curiosity by giving you an answer. Well, isn't that what science is about? You're supposed to be looking for answers, and isn't that one of them? God did it, yes, that's one theory. Let's have a look at other theories as well, because we're scientists as well as Christians, Oh, no, Christians don't do that, no. Yes, anyway, so, of course there's all the well, yes, it's very nice, God did it, but how did he do it? Because that looks really interesting, actually, Anyway, let's just point something out, okay? The universe came from nothing. That is atheist core belief. This universe, all of this stuff here, and everything around us, and your stuff there, and all of your stuff around us, you can have a look around the room, whatever. That all came from nothing. 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 What is nothing? Because you think about that, right? What is nothing? Nothing is absolutely zip. Nothing, no substance, no matter, no energy, no time, okay? It's nothing, right? The standard atheist argument for the creation of the universe, and I use the word creation, okay? Let's not use the word creation, because obviously that means creationist. So we're going to take that away, right? How the universe came about, okay? Use the word came about, because then you're moving away from this tarring creationist, So, how did the universe came about? Because it came about from nothing, right? So let's go right back to the beginning. Core belief, back to the beginning, Big Bang, which is what science says, which is obviously the alternative, okay? Not necessarily a non-Christian thing, actually. Like I said in the previous video, it was actually a Catholic priest that came up with Big Bang theory. It was to solve a problem with the non-eternity of the universe, and so that's the theory they came up with. And since then, atheists have pounced on that and said, "Look, haha, thanks," and just think about that. Big Bang, and all he's doing is saying, "Look, I think he must have been like a cosmologist or something, and he's extrapolated everything back, and he could see that it seemed like everything come from a single point. So therefore, it must have been a big explosion, a Big Bang." And yeah, okay, and I think it was actually a blessed thing, as in other people said, yeah, that sounds good. So, okay, nothing. What is nothing? I mean, nothing, okay? Let's go right back to the beginning, right? Way back to the beginning, right? To this postulated beginning, which obviously nobody was there to see and measure, but we can theorise. And the guys at the LHC are saying, we can reproduce this. Oh, right, so what you're reproducing at the LHC is the same as what happened 13.8 billion years ago. You know that for sure, do you? You know. Anyway, disregarding that, and crediting with the ability to actually reproduce it, and saying that it's a faithful reproduction, yes, okay, fine, no problems, right? So we've got what? We've got subatomic particles, haven't we? And what they call vacuum fluctuations. It's actually now called quantum fluctuations, I think. Okay, so what we're talking about is the actual fabric of this universe, right? Fabric of this universe, I might point out, has this ability of actually just creating a pair of particles, and then they disappear. They annihilate each other. It's a particle and an antiparticle. So you have an electron, right? Electron, positron, into existence, bang, out of existence again. That's quantum fluctuations or vacuum fluctuations, whichever you want to call it, right? And what it is that this is in a part of the universe where there is nothing, okay? So there's no atoms even. There's nothing there, okay? So you say, okay, that's nothing. Nothing is there. There we go, that's the nothing. This bit here, say, for instance, okay, we're in a big universe now, okay? Disregarding the air in this room, let's just say there's nothing in this room, okay? I'm, breathing by some sort of subliminal thing. I've got a pipe up my arse, I don't know, whatever, And there's nothing in this room, we're in space, okay? There's photons coming out of that light above me, okay? Let's forget that, okay? The air molecules in the room, forget those as well. Let's just pretend that this room is filled with absolutely nothing, There's a wall around this room, and that's excluding everything else, and inside this room here we've got nothing. Nothing in this room. No atoms. Nothing. Right? So every so often, these little pairs of particles spring into existence and disappear. And what they said, the reason why the universe came about, right, was because it happened, but for some reason this guy disappeared, and this one was left. And that was it. That was the start. Then we had a particle, and from that, boom, everything else came. Okay, well, that in its own right is a bit of a leap, really, when you think about it. I think the way they think about it is, maybe, and I don't know, because I haven't looked at this, but it's possible it's something like, maybe two pairs of particles came out like that, okay, and these guys, right, annihilated each other, and left these two, or something, and then they smacked together and caused the Big Bang. Something like that. That would, yeah, that'd do. That's a theory, isn't it? Yeah, right, okay, fine, so that's it, right. So we've got pairs of particles that keep popping into existence and disappearing, and boom, two of them clash together, they annihilate each other, and they annihilate each other, and boom, that's it. One Big Bang. Okay, there we go, we got everything. Interesting, faith-based, I might point out, because nobody has actually produced it. But there you go. What we're doing here is we're taking the maths and we're extrapolating down to the very, very small, and then we're imagining the rest. Let's just understand that that's actually what we're doing, okay? This isn't guaranteed proof. This is just somebody's imagination that created this. Fine. And it's a theory. It's a hypothesis, I think they call it, where you basically you don't have any grounds for this, but it sounds like it could happen. So there we go. We have a theory for the creation of the universe, how the universe came about. We have a theory for how the universe came about, using the right words. Okay, fine. That's perfectly logical. And from that, we then say, right, okay, that was the start. And then we had Big Bang, and we had the expansion, and then we had the evolution of the universe. I don't know why you use the word evolution with the universe, because evolution is about biology. It's a universe. There's no biology in a universe. Notwithstanding, let's grant that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, alright, I don't know if it's the right word, but basically things changed from one thing to another. There was no natural selection process for that. But there you go. We'll call it something. We'll call it the changing, the... I don't know, what word can you use? You can't use the word evolve, because that's to do with biology, that's to do with natural selection, that's what it's all about. So what would you use to describe the universe changing from something simple to something more complicated? I don't know actually, I'm not quite sure what the word is, but it's that. And we'll use the word evolved in absence of any other word. Perhaps somebody can tell me. There you go. So, it came from nothing. This room is filled with the nothing. So we've got nothing here, and given, enough time, this business with the particles clashing and create, that would happen, yes? Yeah, okay. What about time? Where did that come from? Okay, Where did time come from? Where did that come from? Hey? All of a sudden we got time. What? Wait a minute, what's time? Where did that come from? Yes? Well, have you got an answer? No, there isn't an answer. Science doesn't have an answer. They can just say, time exists. Time's always existed. Okay, so time has always existed. So that means the age of our universe is actually 13.7 billion years plus the time that's always, so it's eternal. So this space between the Big Bang and the and now the 3.7, 3.8, whatever it is, billion years, right? That exists in an eternal time frame. So we're saying time. Okay, so there you go. There you go. I've answered the question. Time is eternal. There's nothing. There's no start to time. Okay, it just is. Okay. Okay, so time is eternal, but how does that work? That means you have something eternal. Why does it have to be this time thing? You know what I mean? What's that? What is time? The point I'm trying to make is it doesn't matter what argument you use, right, to say this is the beginning, right, and this is the first thing, right, you've got to explain how that first thing got there and what was before it. So time, what was before time? No, it was eternal. Oh, all right. And what about the substance of the universe? This thing, you know, the particles being created and destroyed in vacuum. What about that? Where did that come from? Do you know what I mean? Where did that come from? You're saying, okay, it isn't a thing that it comes from. It's just something that is there. But we've got nothing. There's nothing. Nothing there. There isn't a there because there's a nothing. It's nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. There's nothing there. There's no time. There's no nothing. Where did it all come from? That's the problem with the atheist argument. They will not entertain that. They say that there's a point at which there is a beginning. And there was something there at the beginning. Or before the beginning. Whatever the, you know, the beginning, if it's the Big Bang, what was there before was there. There was something there before the Big Bang. They have to admit that. Okay? Because there is no other logical explanation. You can't logically say that there was nothing. There was no time, there was no absence, you know, there was no volume, as if it were, to have an absence of matter and energy in. There was no volume. There was nothing. Nothing. Nothing means nothing, means nothing. I mean, I keep repeating the word like a gibbering, blooming idiot, but I'm trying to make the point. You're already assuming that there is a thing. There is this thing called, there's a concept. There's a time concept, as if it were. There's this volume of which there is an absence of matter in. That concept. These concepts, where do they come from? Right? And if you're going to say, right, like I said earlier, that time is eternal, right, so it always existed, and this volume which our universe is in, as if it were, always existed, you're saying there's something always there. You're saying there's an eternal thing. Aren't you? Right? So what's the difference between me, as a Christian, saying that eternal thing, in actual fact, is a sentient being, right? It's consciousness, okay? Don't know what it is, just the same as you don't know what it is. I'm saying I don't know what it is, but it's a sentient being. And the difference with mine is that my guy's written books about himself and stuff. Whereas yours, what? Where's that coming from? Do you know what I mean? See? This isn't an easy argument to make. It's not an intellectually easy argument to make. That everything came from nothing. It was born out of nothing. It's not an easy argument to make because you get to the point where you're stuck, you see. And I have an answer because I say there was God, right? God was there. What was before God? Well, God was eternal. Just like time and this volume of space that we're in is eternal. The same thing, isn't it? The difference is that I believe, right, that the God that created all this stuff had intelligence and designed it to make it work, right? You, as an atheist, if you are an atheist, you as an atheist believe that that didn't happen. There was no intelligence. This all came out of nothing for no reason. Nothing. There was no direction, no structure to it. It just happened to just come about from nothing. But what's nothing? So there you go. That is why I believe in a God. Because this is what's in this universe. This being here, and you as a being, are here because you were created. You were designed. Right? Because you work well, don't you? You're looking at this video, presume your eyes work, you're hearing me, presume your ears work, you've not been living, you know, you obviously can interpret what I'm saying, so your brain works. All these things function correctly, don't they? Yes? So, how come? Why do they work correctly? Why isn't there some randomness? Why haven't you got your brain hanging out of your skull or something? Mistake as if it were. Yes, you have mutations and stuff, of course. That's basically it. This business of the atheist saying everything came from nothing doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to say it came from nothing, but then God doesn't exist. That's the bit that doesn't make sense. You're saying, I'm a fool because I believe God was eternal. But what you're saying is I don't believe that God was eternal, but I do believe something was eternal. That's what you're saying as an atheist. There was something which was eternal, but you're just simply saying it wasn't a sentient being. That's the difference. That's the only difference. You see? That's what you're saying.